Hey, last night I watched a recording I made of a BBC programme, The Big Questions, a platform for a large panel of people and a few guests to discuss spiritual and political questions in the UK. And you tend to see the same faces there, so last time was no different, when they discussed, should the British stop tolerating intolerance? Because they had just had the Birmingham, the school scandal, which I've talked about, and the Prime Minister said that it seems as though the UK was too tolerant. Well, it's about time too. And it was not the first time they discussed the topic on the programme, and the results were very similar. So what made me chuckle was the way that Adnan Rashid, a kafirophobe, was slapped around quite badly, and how people in the UK seem to finally wake up from their dream of this lovey-dovey approach they've had up until now. Somehow they forgot to mention him on the guest list, and I would imagine they will forget about him altogether in the future, unless they need a Muslim clown on the show. He seems to work for the Hitchens Institute again, another research-based initiative. Ira, his old, I don't even know if he's still there, but it seems to be dead, killed single-handedly by our favourite Hamza Swartzes with his theatrics, his bad acting, and biting off more that he could chew, demonstrating that Muslim apologists simply can't hack it, and they don't have what it takes. Ira no longer has a page on their staff, so it seems it's disintegrating. And they took the remaining zakat to have a holiday in Brazil or something, watch some football, switch off the lights, and then go home. Hamza is no longer appearing in public, it seems, and is just talking to himself, trying to tell us that the burden of proof is on the one who rejects the self-evident belief in one of the gods. Oh dear. Anyway, but maybe I don't know what he's going to do. If Ira closes, what is somebody like Hamza Tzortzis going to do? Is he going to sell washing machines and then tell people bring a instruction manual like it? Or what is he going to do? Anyway, Adnan apparently jumped ship and has reverted to his old position at Hitchens. Now, on the Big Question show, he was so pathetic and so ridiculously incompetent that I initially just laughed it off and decided to ignore this until I thought, hang on, no. I need to show people the level of stupidity we are faced with. The host, Nicky Campbell, doesn't seem to think too much of him either, as he tells him, Adnan, I will come to you. No, not yet. There are interesting people here. And then he ignores him.
And I will come to you.
Maajid,
No, not yet, please. Right, so please, there's a lot of people, a lot of very interesting people to talk to.
The others provide their views on Islam, the schools, and the intolerance which is tolerated in the UK. And Adnan now gets his big moment, the moment he's been rehearsing and practicing for. Asked whether pupils should receive a real education and not just the information from an old book, Adnan concedes the point that children require the education necessary to function in this world.
And they need more cultural enrichment than just a sacred text. Do you not agree with that?
I agree with that 100%. We must teach our children how to live in this world. This is a very complex, multicultural world, and we live in it as a family. Like this is a perfect demonstration of a family. We are all a family. We disagree with each other.
A dysfunctional family.
Sometimes severely. I find some of the views here very objectionable. But Maajid Nawaz comes out, he's attacking Muslims for believing in things that the Jews believe in. There are Jewish rabbis who believe in exactly the same things that Sheikh who came to lecture in the school.
But now, I mean, he's not exactly an alpha male, right? He sits there with his funny cap and his dress and can't really contribute. Adnan Rashid has always struck me as the typical incompetent and mentally restricted person you need to stand like on an assembly line or in any kind of menial job not requiring any mental activity. Because if he tries to use both brain cells simultaneously, he fails, inevitably. And he finds views objectionable and confuses everyone. He then makes what he considers to be a very clever observation and asks Maajid, I don't know if you know these people, he's one of the bosses or even a founder of the Quilliam Foundation, a think tank on Islam. And he asks him, do you see anything wrong with Jewish rabbis?
Maajid, okay. Do you see anything wrong with the Jewish rabbis?
What?
Now, nobody can really understand this question until it dawns on them that Adnan Rashid, the clever fox he is trying to use the Muslim hate preacher invited to one of the Birmingham schools to preach stoning of women as being the equivalent of stoning sentences in the Jewish Torah, thinking that nobody will say something which is found in the Jewish Bible and that he can get away with it in the Quran. Well, not in the Quran because it doesn't say anything about stoning in the Quran, but in the Islamic tradition or narrative, if you want. And that is how mentally limited he is. And Maajid then explains that stoning is to be categorically rejected, no matter by whom. And then he asks Adnan a very straightforward question. Do you condemn the stoning of women?
Look, if you're an atheist, if you're Jewish, if you're Christian, if you're Muslim, if you're a horse, right, and you call for stoning women to death, I will challenge you and condemn you. I don't care what your religion is, frankly.
I will ask him about that.
Yeah, so because I'm not sure what you're taking issue with, because you see, it sounds to me like...
My take is the Islamic take.
Ask the question.
Okay, so if in a Islamic state, with the Sharia conditions all being perfect, in principle, I condemn stoning a woman to death.
Okay.
Right? Do you, with Sharia conditions being present, in an Islamic state, condemn stoning women who are adulteresses to death?
Yes or no?
No, there is no yes or no answer. Can I ask him a question? Can I ask him a question? Can I ask him a question?
Why is there no yes?
Likewise, Maajid, can I talk to you?
Why is there no yes or no answer?
No. Nicky, can we get an answer? Because I answered his question. Can we now get an answer?
He misrepresents.
Do you not let him get away with no answer? I answered his question.
And the only reply Adnan has is there's no yes or no answer. And then wants to simply continue making Judaism look bad in the hope that it makes Islam look better. What a primitive simpleton. Of course nobody wanted to play his despicable game.
Wait.
So you have to let me
Are you going to answer yes or no?
No, there's no yes or no answer to this question.
Rabbi Laura.
Adnan refuses to answer even when he's asked again, and refuses to condemn the barbaric act of stoning a human being to death. And what is telling is that this woman, this Myriam Francois-Cerrah, or whatever her name is, she was remarkably quiet, and she seemed to drink during all of this, hoping nobody would ask her the same question, which is strange because usually she talks incessantly, but without saying much. But I would have loved to see what would happen if anybody would have asked her the same question, because I'm sure she would have said the same thing. Well, there is no really, maybe, and if, and there are, no, you can't, and it's pathetic. Anyway, in the meantime, the Jewish rabbi has also cottoned on to the childish tactics of Adnan Rashid and now slaps him around some more, until he can only sit there with a sheepish smile on his face and mumble, sure. What a pathetic specimen of a human species.
I found what you said extremely distasteful. And the tone, I haven't finished, the tone in which you said about the Jews, Jewish rabbis, the stoning, incredibly distasteful.
I didn't criticize anyone.
And I just said really
I defend the rights of the Jews.
Please,
I defend the rights of the Jew to believe in what they want to believe.
That's great. Let Laura talk.
So we have to be consistent.
Adnan, please let Laura talk.
Sure.
And I really would find it very uncomfortable if you started defending me, because I would find that quite untrustworthy after what you've just said.
What did I say?
So, I'm finished.
Sure.
Anybody who uses text to defend violence, stoning, is wrong.
Right.
And if there is a school, a faith school or a state school that is teaching it, I object to it, because I believe in the rule of the land. And I believe that schools are there to teach that they do need supervision, faith schools and non-faith schools.
So
the government shouldn't get rid of their responsibilities by handing these things over. And any violence from whoever, from whatever type of faith, and the faiths are not unitary in how they are, should be condemned.
OK, Tracy.
I couldn't let this go, and I thought you had as much fun as I did. And it shows once again the incompatibility of Islam with the 21st century, and the inability of Muslims to take a stand in public and declare a position worthy of a human being. Anyway, thanks for your time.